It is a Tuesday, and this is Trekland HQ, and we are live. Quiet Trek days? Nope. Election Trek days. Plus an unboxing. Today, on episode 368, yes, Trekland Tuesdays live with me, Dr. Trek. Larry Nemechek coming at you here from the heart of Trekland through Portal 47, and yes, Trekland Treks. If you're in the LA area, greater SoCal, in fact, get in touch with me. We'll take a customized away mission like you've never thought of. I'll concierge you to all your favorite, well, 4 of your favorite real-life locations used in Star Trek across the ages. Get in touch with me at larrynemechek.com or even treklandtreks.com. Yes, we're back here in Trekland for some sanity, clarity, and a bigger picture in all things Star Trek. Another Tuesday with you. Thanks, everybody, so much for joining me. Hey, and if you're live, you know to jump in the chat right now and say howdy do to everybody. We've got a great chat. We're this time of day, so we're around the world. And if you're watching us later on YouTube, hey, you can still leave comments below, but I would be great if you could join us sometime on a Tuesday live here at 1-ish Pacific and 4-ish Eastern time, and even 9-ish UK time and 10-ish Central Europe. Yes, and when you're here live with the live chat, and welcome to everybody who's new to us this week, however you found your way here, I'd love to hear about it when we are reading chat, but you should know that if you're on YouTube, yay, you can see all the comments, and when we do chat, you can also put in for super chat. Little silver helps us out here at Trekland. And if you're on Twitch, you'll see all the comments too. If you're on Facebook, you will only see the Facebook comments, just to let you know. So why not go over to YouTube and, like and subscribe while you're there. Well, hey, everybody, it's great. We're going to have an unboxing later on today. And as you veterans know, and I'll tell the newbies, I'm going to be off here on a soapbox for a little bit, but we will take a micro break and then come back, and then I will dive into all the chat. So jump in now, say howdy to everybody. Let us know how it's going with you in your corner of the Trek universe, your weather, whatever's happening with you. Get your howdy doodies out of the way, or whatever antique puppet franchise you prefer. And then I will be back and deep dive the chat with you today after I do my platform. And today is a little bit of a platform. And I know this is only going to appeal today. Well, we've got a lot of interested looky-loos from around the world, but I'm speaking mainly to my Americanistas today, my Americanos, because we're in the campaign season here. And I'm only doing this because, number one, in case you hadn't realized it, it's kind of slow on the Trek news right now. Now, we are heading into, I was reminded, we are heading into New York Comic Con. And since it's so much off my personal radar, I haven't, but it's there. It's a potential for news headlines to come out. It's a potential for some updates for whatever, because we are shooting Starfleet Academy. Right? I know they're going to be shooting. No. Well, anyway. There are series in, yes, they are. There's series in production, et cetera, et cetera. We're all waiting on news from Netflix about Prodigy. We're all waiting about news in general about what the hell the streaming world is going to look like, much less Paramount. So right now, most of all, we're all waiting on Lower Decks in October. But right now, it's a little slow. It's kind of an interesting time. But for a lot of folks in Trek world, and people are enjoying the regional cons. Nashville was last week. There's more creation that's offering these regional all-Trek cons. I've already heard from folks who never had the chance to go to Vegas, much less New York. Maybe they've seen a Comic-Con, but they've never seen an all-Trek con, and there's no fan-driven convention in their area. And it's been great to hear from people that haven't been to an actual Trek con in ages, be able to go and do that and experience that. So good on that. Otherwise, it's been a little slow. It's been a little slow on the news side for Trek, or even the commentary side, with one exception. And yes, as has been the wont Well, the last 3 election cycles, presidential election cycles here. A lot of Trek folks find themselves in the spirit of the times. People love to say we're so polarized in America. What that just means is also could be interpreted as people are so involved and excited and see high stakes that our politics is not on autopilot and you can't let somebody else take over. So I'm just going to trip through today in a fairly short comment today, and then we'll see what everybody wants to talk about. But I just wanted to get into today about what's going on with the election season, both in a partisan and a nonpartisan way. And as Trek fans and American citizens, what you might be interested to know about in case you hadn't been catching this flying by on the socials. Now, the last, well, I guess since 2016, there has been a more political bent to our celebrities speaking out, which reflects the culture at large, which reflects kind of the times we're living in. I know since the 60s, look, everybody's been political. Leonard Nimoy would be involved with campaigns. Kate Mulgrew's husband was at the time, was the Democratic nominee for the governor of Ohio at one point while the show was happening. 2002, was it? And or just after. And so it's not like there's been this Pollyanna detachment. And we all like to say Star Trek's always been political with a small p. Yeah, Star Trek's always been woke. But as far as like overtly involved in campaigns, yeah, individual Star Trek folks have always been involved. But nothing like the last few cycles. So I'm just going to say this on a partisan side, and just because so many folks will be interested. And look, if you enjoy your Star Trek celebrities, there's some mega events. There's at least 2 about to happen where they're involved in part and wholly. Where if you just want to go see actors and celebrities in an unguarded moment, it's awesome to go see this because I believe both of these are free to go to. They're going to be soliciting donations for candidates, but it's still cool to see. So I'm just wanting to put this out there because they're flying by. There's a lot of these going on in different fields, but if you're a Trek folk, you want to know, number one, there's an event that started with Linda Carter, Wonder Woman, and her field that she's just calling it, and it is for Kamala Harris. It's called Geeks and Nerds for Harris. She's the host. It is a week from today, September 25th, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. It is free with an RSVP. They've got a ton of folks involved. Mark Hamill, yes, Sean Astin, the casts of The Boys and Supernatural. But in Trek world, LeVar, Jerry, Ryan, Anthony Rapp, Uncle George, Takei, and I have to include Stacey Abrams is going to be the host. And we have to include Stacey now in the New York, since she's the future president of Earth, according to Discovery in the 32nd century. That is going on. You can go, and if you just go to, all they have is an Eventbrite page. So if you go to Eventbrite and look for Geeks and Nerds for Harris or Harris Waltz, you'll find it. Good enough. Week from today. Moving on, All Trek now, and I think I don't want to give incorrect credit here on the founder. I think this started with Nana coming out of her women's book and her would-be women's documentary, Women of Trek. But there is an event called Women of Star Trek to elect Kamala Harris. It's going to be Thursday, October 3rd, at the same time, 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern. It's a Zoom call. You need to register for it as well. If you go to womenofstartrek.com, which is Nana's project site for her book, and they've got so many. They have. Stacey Abrams is hosting that. I'm sorry, Stacey Abrams is hosting this. But it is Kate Mulgrew. It's Gates McFadden. It's Michelle Hurd, Nana Visitor, Denise, Jerry Ryan. They've got Senator Cory Booker from New Jersey sneaking in as a male guest. The Sci-Fi Sisters are going to be involved with this. Just so many names all the way up and down the road. Oh, Terry Farrell, Catherine Hicks, Bertia Damas, Don Lewis, Captain Freeman, Elizabeth Denny, Commander Shelby, Linda Park, Hoshi herself, Ashley Sharp Chestnut, Picard's crew, Mary Chieffo, Rhonda Aldrich, Bonnie Gordon, Stephanie Chkowski, Yetiti Badaki, Kitty Swink, Marnie Moseman, who is John Delancey's wife and was in Loud as a Whisper, Chase Masterson, Martha Hackett, Megan Gallagher, Jane Brooke, and Elisa Goodman, who, yes, I needed to look up, but she is a casting director and worked on the first 2 years of Next Generation. And I'm sure by the time they get there, there'll be more. Again, it's the Geeks and Nerds is 3 hours. I don't know how long this one is, but if you want to see it, and again, if you don't like your Trek and politics to mix, then this isn't for you. And if you are supporting the Republicans and Trump, this is not for you. But I know the way where most of Star Trek sympathies lies because I know the DNA of Star Trek. And I just want to make sure sometimes these fly by, they're confusing. They've even made a joke about, the white dudes for Harris and all of that. So not to lose it in the weeds, this is October 3rd. You can go to womenofstartrek.com. That's where it's just a simple sign up. And then you can watch. You don't have to donate even. You can just watch and listen and see all your favorite actors like that dropping the mask. Because you know what? Actors and entertainers and sports personalities, whatever walk of life, the same as plumbers and pipe fitters and school teachers. If you're a citizen, you're a citizen. And you may not be an actor. You might be the biggest car dealer in the greater Cincinnati area. And you may have to pay for it with commercials, but you too might have a platform. And business people, just like actors, who in a sense are also business people to a degree, when it comes to politics, it can be a itchy situation, especially when things are a little more even-handed, because you run the risk, if you make a public statement, of alienating part of your potential client base, part of your potential fan base. So it's not just an easy breezy peasy thing to do, Taylor Swift. But if you want to take that risk, no matter what you proclaim yourself, and I say all the sides, there's, in Europe, this turns into a 3 and 4 and 5-way situation. So get out of here if you say anyone who's got a public persona is not allowed to speak their mind about their politics. They're a citizen. And yes, they may have a big fan base. They may have a lot of attention given their way. But what's the alternative? You're going to limit their free speech? And a lot of that is free. They're not paying for it. So that's my 2 cents on that. Because the other way is we have enough looming madness to go around censoring people on what they can and can't say when all they're doing is just, proclaiming who they're for. As long as it's, not inciting death threats and bomb threats. Now, I wanted to throw in here because we're not going to I wanted to get through these. Ding, ding, ding. And we've got an unboxing. But I did have a nonpartisan aspect to do, and it's returning. You may not remember this, but I think in 2024 was the first time we heard from Trek the Vote. So Trek the Vote 2024 has a landing page you can get to now. It's not fleshed out. They're talking about it'll be shortly. But the statement on Trek the Vote 2024, which is nonpartisan, says we are a grassroots community of Star Trek fans volunteering alongside our favorite actors from the Star Trek franchise to support the fair and impartial process of democracy. We welcome anyone who can agree that voting should be safe and easy, elections should be transparent and secure, and everyone should obey the law and respect the outcome. You can put your email in there, and they will tell you what to do about getting set up for registration, voting. If there's if there's help that's needed in signing up, transporting people to polls, all that kind of thing. It's not active. There's a launch page here. You can leave your name, and they will get to you when they're fully launched. We've got 6 weeks to go now? 2 weeks? 1 week less than 2 months. That's Trek the Vote 2024. There was a Trek the Vote 2020 that performed the same task. And then let me just throw this in too. On the most simplest level of finding out if you're registered, because a lot of states have changed how they do registration lists and refreshing them. Some might say purging them. And a lot of times mistakes happen. So the blandest thing to tell, or the simplest thing to tell everyone is being advised to check your registration. Make sure it's up to date. There's a lot of just basic, bland ways to do that. Thank you, computers. You can go to usa.gov to check and confirm your voter registration status. You can go to vote.org. You can go to Vote 411 and check all that, especially if your state doesn't have its own tool. Your state may have a check your registration just for your state also. I know California does. If I look here in Zoom, I'd probably find some more. If your state doesn't, or if you just want to look in the national database and see how they work, usa.gov, vote.org, and Vote 411 are all three. Again, they're all nonpartisan. They're all governmental. That's just a way for you to check your registration. If something is askew, and believe me, when we moved in February, that was one of the first 5 things I did in the first 3 or 4 days we were here, was go down and re-register and make sure that my registration had changed. And now I'm all cut up. I'm here. I'm in California. Got my statewide general election packet here. So I should be good in my name coming to this address. But I'm urging everybody to check your registration. And then number one, so much, it varies state by state, but so much of that, if you have a problem, can do it online, check out. You may have to go down and talk to a person depending on where you are, what's going on. But I'm just urging you to the very latest, because you could have sat in your same house for 30 years and been voting right along, and not just presidential. You could have been voting on school bonds and local city council. But you never know, especially these days, when something might have hiccuped and you might not be. And supposedly in America, since Florida's recount, you've been able to go down and vote provisionally if there's an issue, but you don't even want to have to go that far. And then later on, they confirm that you were legit, and then they count your vote. Well, that's an awful lot of in the weeds business in what could be a contentious after election day, long drawn out catch up, recount, or just long count with things of that issue. So you just want to be in there and know it and do it. And in California, at least LA County has a thing where the county registrar text, if you're signed up for it, will text you and say, your vote's been counted now, like that night or the next day or 2 days later. It's kind of amazing. But you just want to be upfront with it. No one wants to have to mess with the provisional ballot unless they have to. So I'm just urging everybody, no matter what you're planning to do. And of course, there's more than one election going on here. There's a whole, depending on where you are, there's a whole ballot of up and down ballot and state propositions or state questions, and county and local and city. So we're in that time. I'm going to be clinging to my Trek optimism. I'm going to be counting down the days till Lower Decks is back on and we have actual Star Trek to do, and I have more second opinions to get out for fresh Trek. And then we're all going to be hanging on to see what's up with Section 31, the movie, Backdoor Pilot, Michelle Yolis. And we'll see what 2025 brings. We'll see what Paramount brings. We'll see what the whole frigging industry brings. But for right now, this isn't a lot of people's viewport. So I'm sorry for boring you around the world, everybody. Except I know you're all curious, too, about what the hell is going on here. So that's it. That's it. I just wanted to get those across. Women of Star Trek is October 3rd. Women of Star Trek who support Kamala Harris is October 3rd at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern. Register for the Zoom call. You're there. And then a week from now, Geeks and Nerds for Harris Waltz organizing call is not sure exactly what kind of a call. It might be Zoom. We'll see. But that's the one that Linda Carter is organizing, and she's hosting along with her organizer manager Sabrina Cutton, with a lot of people from across the genres, including Trek folks. And then I mentioned Trek the Vote. If you just want to be involved locally with helping people vote, registration information, all that kind of thing, being on hand to help if there's issues, And they've got it kind of in a Starfleety vein. So they did in 2020, where they had ensigns and lieutenants and all of that, depending on how much you were able to help out. So just as a fun thing, not to get into a power structure about it, but you'd leave your email there at Trek the Vote. Oh, this is a wacky one. The URL, the website for Trek the Vote is trekThe.vote. You with me? trekThe.vote. So hopefully if you did a wrong way normal sounding when you would get back there, but just in case, it's got the odd URL. And then again, vote.org, USA.gov, and Vote 411 are three places where if you just want to check your registration, you can do it without a lot of political campaign hoo-ha. Just a nonpartisan, straight governmental board to do it. And then if something is amiss, you can take the steps. Hopefully, the clock hasn't run out on this, but hopefully you've got plenty of time to fix what needs to be fixed, if anything. All right? Now, I promised you an unboxing, and it's a box. We're not doing an unpackaging. We're doing an unboxing. Look, it's from Penguin Random House. All righty then. Let's see. Oh, let's see what I can get out of here. Yes, it's a real unboxing. My mom's scissors. These are at least 50, 60 years old, and they're still amazing. I can't remember the last time I sharpened. All right. I'm excited for this because there's an event happening in Burbank. This better be what I think it is. Okay. Oh my gosh. Yes. Hey, Mom, the new brown paper wrapping is here. Oh, look what it is. It's Star Trek Discovery, the art of Glenn Hetrick and his Alchemy Studios. Yes. Now, this just came out. This is out and available now. It came out September 3rd. So Glenn Hetrick is one of the amazing makeup geniuses that you've seen. We've got Neville Page. Glenn is a designer. Glenn Hetrick as an applier, designer, but also running the cruise and getting it out there. One of the many, many, many. But Glenn's studios design, and this book is on the Discovery era, right? Revealing the magic of prosthetic makeup. So all the heirs apparent to our great Michael Westmore are now getting their name and their spotlight. And this is a pretty good coffee table book. See, it is. Let's see. It's 192 pages. It's in English, obviously. Now, Titan is the publisher. Thank you, Titan, for stepping up and taking the horns of the nonfiction publishing. Boy, that's there we go. Really good. Yeah. So a lot of Glenn, including 5th season. A lot of art, a lot of behind-the-scenes photos, a lot of interviews with Glenn and his team. Joe Nazaro, who's been writing longer than I have from the Starlog days and onward, is the author here putting this together. He's done some of the other more recent nonfiction books. It's out. It's September 3rd. You can get it at Amazon or your local brick and mortar, I'm sure. But this is just awesome. Let's look at the back panel there. There's David Thomas. Did anybody get to see David at Vegas? Updated Andorians, updated Ferengi, Lurians, and some of the exotics up here at the top. Probably information about what would have been like the original Saru, multiple-eyed, the tardigrade, all of that from the early days and on. Just to say, Glenn's been working as a makeup artist for over 30 years. And is the CEO of Alchemy Studios. That's his name. 2 Emmys, outstanding prosthetic makeups for a series, 2 of them for Discovery. So, yay, Glenn. He's got the cred. And some of you may, of course, remember Glenn back from the days of the great reality game show, Face Off, that Mackenzie Westmore hosted, and her dad would sometimes be a judge for. But yeah, so this has been out since September 3rd. It's awesome, great. It is so amazing that these master artists and designers are actually getting books now these days. We've had such a wonderful backstage revolution the last 10, 15 years. Thank you, Titan, for picking up the beacon here, the baton, the torch, and helping get more out about our backstage folks in their own spotlight. They don't have to be a sliver of like one of my books. They can have their own spotlight book. Neville's book was out a few years ago. Of course, Dan Curry's had one. Mike Westmore finally did his own book after, in his day, these would have been soft paperbacks from Starlog. Look how far we've come. Yeah. Star Trek, The Art of Glenn Hetrick's Alchemy Studios by Joe Navarro. Joe Nazaro. By Joe Nazaro, out now at Amazon. Pick up a copy. And I can't wait to dive in myself. Punch this. You know what? I think I'm going to do it right now. Punch this. Get rid of this shrink wrap right here. Let's not just have an unboxing. Let's have an unbooking. An unwrapping. Well, I thought we did. This is some tough plastic, kids. Okay. I'm not scraping up the pages. There we go. No more glare. Look at this. What do we got here? Okay. Oh, we did that. Oh, Tunde did the forward. Very nice. With area. I mean, it's what you expect. There's lots of great photography and plenty. Oh, there we go. Some aspects and close-up work. Oh, the Beetlejuicean making up your. It's organized by seasons. Interesting. And yes, there's plenty of text. There's lots of text and interviewees and how to even. There you go. The Art of Glenn Hetrick and Alchemy Studios by Joe Nazaro from Titan, out now. I hope you can pick up a copy. And if you hang around Trekland, I'm going to say save the date. Our 9th anniversary open house for Portal 47 is coming up. Every year on the anniversary season for Portal, we're ending our 9th year. And I always celebrate by opening the doors, letting everybody in with a huge guest. This year, our 9th anniversary open house is going to be October 9th. Let me just double check that right. Yes, Wednesday, October 9th, we're going to have a mock Ask Dr. Trek roundtable for newbies. It's like an open mic. It's 6 o'clock Pacific, and then 7 o'clock we'll have our guest. We'll be announcing that shortly. But you want to save the date for October 9th, Wednesday, October 9th. More to come. And, of course, part of an open house is the door prizes. And virtually, this is going to be one of them. DVDs, DVD sets, some books, I don't know, 5 or 6. So that's why you register. And that's so we have you for the drawings. And then we'll have a mock roundtable. A sample Ask Dr. Trek roundtable. And then our special guest of the night. So be watching for that, but save the date now. 6 p.m. to start the roundtable, 7 for our guest on Wednesday, October 9th. That's Pacific. So I know it's late Eastern time, but we're trying to be at least continental here, if not intercontinental. So there you go. We're doing what we can here. It's a little slow on the Trek news, but we're doing what we can. And I'm going to take a break right now and we'll take a break. If you're with us on YouTube, hey, if you ever can make it live, you'll see me talk to the chat folks and have a great old time. But if you're leaving now, just let me say thank you for being here. Thanks for checking us out. Like and subscribe here on the channel. That would be great. And sure, maybe you're ready for a Trekland trek at LarryNemecek.com. A full day, 6 hours of going to 4 sites that you pick out. I coordinate. I concierge you. We have a great time with lunch too, right? And of course, couldn't get through a show without thanking all of our Patreon folk here. Yeah, so I want to say a shout out to our TTL clubbers. You know who you are, but I want to say it anyway. Thank you, Chuck A., James Kerwin, Diana Hopkins, Jesse at Crusher Convo Podcast, Lawrence Todd, Halbjörn Gunnjonsson, Galinda Bruton, Andrew Jazimski, Josh Patton, Pranakasha Productions, Chris Jiggins, Keith Rombach, and Comedy Forecasts. And then our live wires, Rob McLean, Byron Bailey, J.R. Poole, Adam Hoenzi, James, Dave Gregory, Greg Wickstrom, and Casey Shafsky. Hey, I really, really do appreciate it. It's a lifeline here as we explore what we can do with the online live and situations. We've gradually been growing, so that's great. If you want to jump in, we're getting down to the end of the month. Yeah, all it is I have a very simple Patreon, $5, $10 for a shout out. The $10 is access to some of the earlier years of our Portal 47 backstage creatives interviews. Some of them go on for nearly 2 hours. A couple of them go on past 2 hours. But that's the $10 level. I keep it simple that way. Patreon.com/Trekland Live. I really, really, really appreciate the support. That is awesome. And of course, if it's a Tuesday, that means it's a Tuesday twofer, which means it's a Trek Files is up. We're about midway through our 12th season. This week, the guest, who was my guest this week? Oh, yes. Guy you may not be familiar with, but you should. His name's Steve Lee. He's worked in the audio and sound aspect of the entertainment industry for 30 years. He was working in the sound libraries attached to the sound makers during the original series movies era, and since knows all the sound masters, musicians, is working to compile the Hollywood Sound Museum. They have it ready to go. They're looking for a building, but he joins us. We've got a memo from the 60s about just the dubbing stage. We talk about the industry. We talk about Star Trek folks from Doug Grindstaff all the way up to Ben Burt. It's a different kind of Trek Files and a different kind of Star Trek, which, of course, is what we're all about here. Not the same-o, same-o. So check it out this Tuesday. You can go to the new site at thetrekfiles.com, which takes you into the new Memory Alpha site, where you're right there with all the reader, the document, the player is all there together with the hot links. Or just get the podcast at your podcast of choice, and you can see all the Roddenberry podcasts. It's a growing family at podcast.roddenberry.com. Check that out if you would too. We're going to have some news, some news for the better coming up for the Trek Files in the next couple of months too. So you want to make sure and be around for that. Some new plans. Otherwise, just know you can catch me. Yes, I'm still on Twitter X, Larry Nemecek. I'm hanging in there because the Trek corner of Twitter is still pretty decent. And when you've got 13,000 followers there, I hate to give up on them. So we're going to be in there fighting the good fight, just doing Trek stuff. It's fine when you're in our corner. That's there. But yes, on Facebook, on Instagram, Larry's Trekland. Like and subscribe on YouTube if you're there right now. And even if you're not, do that, please. And of course, portal47.net. Go read about it. Go check it. And then when we ring the bell, make sure and get registered for our 9th annual open house. Wednesday, October 9th. Save the date, and then we will get you signed aboard as soon as we announce the guests, hopefully in the next week. Alrighty? I'm going to take that little micro break now as we say bye to our YouTubers. And we'll also say, please stay healthy, do all the things. Oh, stay woke, check the sources. It's getting pretty thick out there. there's a lot of traffic on some of the short video, whether you're on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or TikTok, you're probably seeing a flood of people desperately trying to look ordinary. I don't think they were there 3 months ago. So check the sources, would you please? And yeah, trek well, everybody. Okay, let's hit the chat here. Let's hit the chat. Everybody, good to see everybody back. Yeah, Christoph and Dave, and hey, Cassandra, it's good to see you again. Hope you can get back into some Portal meetups. And Melanie, yep. And of course, Rose, hope you're well across the pond. And hey, Joel, it was good to see you a couple times at Vegas this year. Willie's here. Hey, Di. Glad you were able to get before the last minute. Yay. And Wanda. There you go. I think the one that you're getting is the Women of Trek for Kamala. That's the one the Sci-Fi Sisters are involved in. That's probably what it is. And there you go. Thank you, Melanie, for posting that. Boom. This is what I thought. Not hosting. I think Stacey Abrams is the nominal host, but part of it, big time. Yes. Let's see. Hey, Jennifer. My goodness. My gosh. How are you, my dear? You are solely missed at the Rio during Star Trek days with the menus. Interesting times. The Rio's on an upswing, but I wish you were back there behind the food prep and the marketing. Yes. In case you've been under a rock, Taylor Swift and Lady Gaga are going there. And Cassandra, I heartily endorse this message. Hey, Rashid. Hey, from the UK. You guys already went through your election season. You did it in what, 13 minutes or something? Yes. Mala Baloney, you're not late at all. Everybody's welcome. Yep. And Plushy's back there. He was waiting for you. Let's see. Yeah, I did verbal, and I will forward them and pass along in my socials if someone doesn't beat me to it here. Mark is on. Yeah. So the Linda Carter one, the Geeks and Nerds for Harris, like I said, is multi-genre, but LeVar, George, Anthony, Jerry, I may be leaving some out. Might be in there. And Stacy's on that one as well, but not the host. Oh, cool. Yes, I know Todd's name. I've never talked to him, though. So good for that. Okay. I haven't had him on Portal over the years, so that's cool. Clud. I know you've been with me before, but is that a new? I don't know. Hey, JRR. Not a token answer, but bonjour. Yes. Oh, hey, Wanda. Good for you. Volunteerism, doing what you can do at home. A lot of people don't have money to donate to their candidates, but there's nothing like human power, nothing like sweat equity. They all need that. I'm just seeing who's here. Oh, this was my point. Thank you, Wanda. I meant to say at the beginning, today is, in America, National Voter Registration Day. I totally blanked on that. Yes, thank you. Maybe I should just say for later, hey, for one thing, It's National Voter Registration Day, and that's going to drive today's episode. Give a listen. And then maybe I should do it without that there. Hey, today, on top of everything else, though, is National Voter Registration Day in the States. So that's going to drive today's show, and give a listen. There we go. You know, the thing about showing voter ID isn't a thing, except that it's not that simple. The whole point gets manipulated and worked, and a lot of people don't have the time to deal with bureaucracies if they don't already have a driver's license. Photo ID. Then that's where the wiggle worm of manipulation comes in. Yeah, it's nobody objects, I think, to showing an ID, especially in today's technology. It's what are the jumps and the hoops you have to make to do that. But good idea. Well, here's the thing, JR. Even people that vote frequently can have it, between one election 1 month and another one the very next month, like a runoff, a primary to a general or whatever, or a local election, not a big one. And yes, North Carolina is a swing state. It's huge. Ma, give us a Will Rogers quote to inspire us today. Well, Will said, it's great to be great, but it's greater to be human. He said one time, no man is great if he thinks he is. But I'll say, we're not here. He said one time, he's talking about America, but I think he might have been talking about all of humanity. He said, we're not here on account of any one man. And of course, they use man more than they used to say person. So don't judge him for saying man, okay? It was the times. But he said, we're not here. We're not where we are on account of any one man. We are here on account of the real common sense of the big normal majority. Anyway, of course, one of my favorite ones, he talks about his birthday. His birthday is November 4th. So he said one time, I'm the only guy in history who was born on election day that would admit it. He said, in those days, see, what happened was women couldn't vote. So my mom stayed home and gave birth to me to get back at the government later. Because, he was a pundit. He invented political punditry in a stand-up way. Will is amazing. He is so made for our times today. And being a quarter Cherokee and growing up with white kids, black kids, and Indian kids, he was multicultural. In northeastern Oklahoma, in the Cherokee Nation of the old Indian Territory. But I digress. But thank you. Thank you, Ma, for getting me off track for a second. Melanie, I am not sure. That could very well vary from state to state, unless that was one of the things that they tried to nationalize with a standard a few years ago. But you'll just have to check locally. Everybody has to check locally to see. But even so, if it's 30 days, sometimes the deadlines are about, you can't, some people have same day, some states, they have same day registration. You can go in and register and vote that day on election day, or an early voting session. Some states, and I think I saw just the other day out of morbid curiosity, I think Oklahoma still has a 30-day advance registration. I mean, I remember back in my news days being in our newsroom late on election day, and I wasn't going to be covering the counting at the courthouse, at the election board. So I was actually there through the afternoon. And I remember one time a guy, a good old Okie, called about 4:30 and said, I just want to register a complaint. Did you know I went down to register to vote tonight? And you can't do it on the same day? Why, there's something about that. He ranted and ranted and ranted. And I'm like, yes, sir, yes, sir. In the back of my mind saying, you know what? I kind of agree with you, but it's not like has it changed? It's been that way forever. You apparently just decided, you stuck your head up out of your gopher hole. I love the people, having been a reporter and keeping my ear to the ground just as public policy, much less through politics and history. The folks that go along and go along and go along, and God bless them, they're free to do that. But finally, something crosses their path that pisses them off or irks them, or they're drilling an oil well next door, or they're not drilling an oil well next door and trying to stop it. Whatever's going on, suddenly the public sphere is just the hottest thing ever, and they have to go. And it's just like, it's never happened to anybody else before. It's never, it's like suddenly they're all into it, and they show up at the city council meeting or the school board meeting all up about this, and they're just aghast that they can't just talk about what they want to talk about, and they have to wait for the public comment session, and they look at everybody suspiciously, and it's like their first introduction to just the way shit works. And it's the way it's been for ages, and things change when they need to change, or enough people decide they need to change. But they get up like they're just the greatest thing, God gave to politics and local government. And they're just aghast. And you're just sitting there going, yeah. And this happens, and then that happens. And, if you really cared, you would have known this before something, It's like the NIMBY. It's like not in my backyard, only it's almost like not in my life. But boy, the minute it crosses their life, it's the most important thing in the world. So don't be one of those people. Don't be one of those people. Pay attention to what's going on around you. You don't have to be, up to your eyeballs. You don't have to be a news junkie or a politics junkie, but just don't be a deer in the headlights. That's one of my mantras. One of the worst things that I hate happen. And sometimes you don't know the tornado's going to come that day, but you can know what to do in case of one. Right? Okay. Enough of that for today. There you go, Carl. Utah has a really good vote by mail system. You can track the ballot and make sure the vote was counted on the website. There you go. We call that transparency. And we have the tech now to do that, where it's not cumbersome and expensive. Pretty easy to do. Things are tagged. Thank you, Wanda, for that. I'm with you, Derek. Geeks and Nerds should be amazing. The women of Star Trek will be amazing too. Yes, the 924 is the Linda Carter. Well, Wanda, what year are you talking? You talking 2024? You talking 2020? You talking 2018? What are you doing? Yes, Trek the period vote to be a volunteer with a Star Trek flavor to help support voting. Yes, it is a big box. There you go. Thank you, Melanie, for posting that. There you go, everybody. Oh no, Carl, I've held on to those scissors too long. They're amazing. And every time I use them, I think of my mom. Yes. Do I have a cat? I had a cat once. I had my dog cat, Schneider, for 10 years. Yeah. Hey, look at this. Yes, it is interesting. Yes, it is a cool looking book. Well, it's the shrink wrapped. It has nothing to do with Firefly. Yes. Oh, good, Christoph. So the Lower Deck season 4 is in the German market, right? What is it? It's the acronym that also works in America. Germany, Australia, Switzerland, SGA. No. Oh, shoot. I can't think. There you go. All right, Wanda. Carl, I don't know how you wouldn't. There's a lot of what he's covering is so new that no one's had time to process it. It's not 20-year-old material. It's right here in our faces, new. It's the ink is still wet on some of those makeups and prosthetics. Yeah. Good to see everybody's. Yay. This has got to be the most excitable crowd for an unboxing ever. I guess it's a little more exciting than looking at a DVD box. There we go. Yeah. Oh, good. Oh, Derek, good luck, man. A lot of folks out there job looking right now. Yeah, good luck. Okay, see, blue sky. I just want someone to say for sure, for sure. Of course, you got to work a little bit for it, but hey, Chuck, glad you could make it. I think you just missed the show, but you can catch up. Oh, good luck, man. Good luck. We're all pulling for you. We are all pulling for you, man. Dr. McCoy is gonna be proud of your progress. All the doctors will be proud of your progress. Hey, Comedy 4, thank you, and thank you for Patreoning. Yes, indeedy. Zahir is here. You were here already, weren't you, Zahir? Yes, Rose. Here's one thing to look forward to. 38 days. Thanks for the countdown. 38 days. We've got Lower Deck season 5. Final one. Well, there you go, Ma. That's Will's will. What can I say? You got me off the cuff, off the top of my head. You have to, if you're ever in LA, you have to come out to the ranch house. Or if you're ever down in Oklahoma, you have to go by the memorial and museum in Claremore. Right off I-44, right off Route 66. Did you know that Route 66 is officially the Will Rogers Highway? Yes, it is indeedy. They named it that in the 50s as a retcon. I don't think so. There's a Will Rogers that's a college quarterback going pro. Don't double check on that. Yeah, you're right, Melanie. I never met a man I didn't like. I guess I've joked about every prominent man in my time, but I never met a man I didn't like. And this is what they said. Oh, during the 70s, that was the bumper sticker. Will Rogers never met Nixon. That was back when you had a generation that you could put Will Rogers on a bumper sticker and people driving would know who the hell you were talking about. Sadly, we need to reverse that. Yes. Speaking of advance dates, how nice. I feel so honored. The next Trek Talks 4 is going to be on my birthday, January 18th, is a Saturday next year. Be the 4th annual. And I have a very special panel in the works this time. Hey, Narda. Haven't heard much from you lately, but hope the Outback. You're our Outback reporter. Good to hear from you, lady. Yes. The GSA. I couldn't make it work in my brain. General Services Administration. Germany, Switzerland, Austria. Yes, this is true. I know Oregon was one of the first states that went to all-mail voting. There is no local voting at all. You have no choice, I think. There might be drop-off places. I saw this, but I didn't get to watch it. I thought I'd catch it later. I think I saw something that said the other guys from a reality show of some kind, Night Truckers, or I don't know. They didn't do so well, which hopefully means the Star Trek folks won. Hey, Donnie, good to see you today. I mean, not spoilers or anything, but I think they won. Yes, there are plaques all along the way, and there's an end plaque on the ground at the Santa Monica Pier, or just a block north of the Santa Monica Pier. The end point from Chicago to, it winds from Chicago to LA. More than 3,000 miles all the way. Get your kicks on Route 66. And yes, I could sing it. I'll save that. The centennial of Route 66 is coming up in 2026, which is why it's a little bit more on my mind. And Will Rogers is tied in with not just that Claremore and Santa Monica, birthplace, and the State Park Home Ranch are both right on Route 66. So it's a big, which is part of the reason why they named it that, as well as the Americana and the good feeling that it evoked. Okay. Hey, Scott, good to see you, man. Yes, you will be catching up later, I'm sure, as you help edit the thing with Kyle. It was, and not even the day. Yes. Oh, it was Billy Mooney playing Will Robinson. Okay. Extremely little ensign. Yes. Danger, Sean O'Sullivan. Sing, man, sing. It winds from Chicago to L.A. See, I know Nat King Cole has his and Rolling Stones have their rock version, but I still prefer the Manhattan Transfers version, which is recorded. And if you had to say it, I would say the live version that just was on their greatest hits album. Okay. We never go to music, but there you go. Scott, what do I know? Oh, awesome. No, I think you told me this once, but I forgot what you were. Were you in the chorus or did you have a bit? Because there's lots of room to have bits in the Will Rogers Follies. It winds from Chicago to L.A. More than 3,000 miles all the way. There. Just for you, Carl. Just for you. But yes, we are at the end of the chat. So, happy National Voter Registration Day. If you're in the U.S., check your voter registration. Pay attention if you're curious about what your Star Trek folks are doing. They're taking part in one meetup for Kamala Harris and another for. And look, gang, I meant to say this. I don't know of anything similar like this happening for the Trump and Vance campaign. So, just saying, if I would mention it if there were Trek folks who were doing something a similar vein, but I don't know of any. So, at least in an organized fashion like that to point people to. So, just saying. On the cruise karaoke, I'm not going to compete. The only thing about karaoke's I hate is it's like a land run. It's like 5,000 people all fighting over the mic or getting in line since a week ago Tuesday for the mic. So we'll see. Maybe I'll have some in. If I'm a guest, maybe I'll see about it. Sean, no, I didn't. But maybe we will do this in future. I'll try to be timely about it. I'm always looking for offbeat things to talk about here. Offbeat but big. Okay? Ooh, Dave, you agreed with me. Oh, you're up on this. All right. You guys, we have too many Life Support Live veterans. No, I take that back. There can never be too many Life Support Live veteran fans. I appreciate y'all. That's a nice way to put it, Timothy. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's not just to make sure it's not an election day. It's just this was national. Somebody created this just to get people to go check their registration, and I was giving some places to do that easily without having to go down to the election board office or whatever it's called in your place. Gosh, Sean, I never thought of this before. Probably because I never thought to think about it before. But yeah, it would have to be the Okie Dokie karaoke. Oh my gosh. Now, That is a thing. Yes, there have been Spock, Kirk, Janeway, Chakotay, Janeway, Tuvok, Picard, Riker. Oh, in my old office, I had a Picard Riker 92 bumper sticker right here. I'll have to find those and get them out. There's been a long association with Trek recognizing an election was going by, and a lot of fun people having fun with that at times. I've got some little I want to say Janeway Tuvok stickers. No, I don't know why not Chakotay, but there you go. Wow, look at all the Manhattan Transfer. They finally had their farewell. I caught a video of it. They finally had their farewell concert. I was like, not a lot of groups I like. Jimmy Buffett was one. Manhattan Transfer was another one. Okay, well, don't steal it from me. I trademarked it. Okay, Ma. Yeah, Narda, just don't be confused. It's not a big holiday. Okay, it was just more of a thing. Hey, Jesse. Hey, saying hey back at you too. Thank you for Patreoning, and thank you for always mentioning me when it's a TeePublic sale weekend. That's crazy, but thank you for doing it, because we have so much volume of merch through our TeePublic Trekland store too. Yeah. Well, look at you guys, all the Manhattan Transfer fans coming out of the woodwork today. This is awesome. Okay, Jesse. See, Picard Riker is an evergreen. It's probably overtaking Kirk Spock by now, I think. There's a picture of Leonard in the 60s during the run of the show with I think it's a Spock for President bumper sticker, which were kind of common. If you think about 68 and the third, the mail campaign for third season, 68 was a horrific. 2020 was like the first year to me that rivaled 1968. I just wish we had an Apollo 8 at the end of the year to make us all feel better. Well, I guess we had an election result. Yeah, some great memes about Ducat running for election. Yes. Hello, Wesley Healy. Have you been with us before, or maybe lurking? But good to see you here at the tail end. Manhattan Transfer got big around 75, 76. Yes. When they did Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy. I think, did they do it? There was a whole 40s revival, and they were right there in the middle of it. And they did Candy. Am I thinking right? What was their hit that brought them? Oh, In the Mood. They did a vocal version with words, the words to In the Mood also. Yeah. Well, again, thank you for doing so. Yep. And absolutely, Melanie. Yes, including my dad. You want me to sing Chicago? Which one? Chicago, that toddling town. Or do you mean Chicago songs? Like, 25 or 6 to 4. Oh, you got my feed from Trek Yards. Well, thank the captains and admirals, whatever rank they are now. That's awesome. Very good. Thank you. Well, make sure and, subscribe and ring the bell and do all the things. And come back and join us on other Tuesdays too. And check out everything I do. Yeah, it was the next year was much better with Apollo 11. More so Apollo 11 and not so much the guy that got inaugurated that year. Okay. Hey, all opinions are good, Christian. Absolutely. At least you know. They did? Yeah, it was Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy that really brought him big time, I think. That was there on one of their first albums. But their first album was the one with their logo, the black and white logo with the figures kind of drawn in the 30s silhouette style. No Trek Chicago. None of the little treks for me aside from San Francisco. I think the cruise might just well be the next. Oh, I should say this, and I think the tickets are all sold, but I'm going to be a guest along with Armin and Kitty and John Billingsley there's a group called The Fleet, which has chapters, but aside from, or in contrast to like Starfleet International and the away team concept, The Fleet has chapters that are cosplay driven, but still organized around fandom fun and meeting up and charity work. And their 10th anniversary, they've got several chapters started in Southern California, but they've got some other chapters around the country. And their 10th anniversary is coming up a week from Saturday. No, this Saturday. And I'm going to be on the bill of guests they're having a big, big party, banquet, and a DJ dance afterwards over in Cerritos, California, at the Cerritos Public Library with this big rentable fancy event space. So I'm looking forward to that. So a shout out to all the ships to the Artemis and the Astraeus and all the ships of the Fleet and their 10th anniversary happening this Saturday, culminating with that and guests, and thrilled to be a guest for all that night. Yeah. Oh, well, I don't think you can post it. You can't post in chat in this, can you, Scott? Anyway. The USS Eureka or the USS Humboldt? Are those ships in the Fleet? Anyway, congratulations and 10 years to the Fleet. And I'll be seeing all of them Saturday night. Other than that, I don't think any cons events until the cruise. But we'll see. We'll see. You never say never. Never say never. And by the way, I need to start promoting it here, but we are planning finally. We've had miscues, we've had pandemics, we have had personal situations, life got in the way, but Terrace and I are back. We're promoting a big tour, not connected to Vegas this year. It's on its own thing. It's a week long around. It's 5-6 days. Geek Nation tours officially with me as the host in July. It's the weekend after 4th of July and for the next 5-6 days. So it's in that hole between 4th of July and San Diego Comic-Con. We'll be talking more about that too. But if you are interested in taking a mega, not just a Trekland Treks day tour with me, but a multi-day with a big group on the bus kind of situation in and around SoCal, you want to check that out too. And go to geeknationtours.com. And I'm going to start having links to it as well on my site. Anyway, I think we're done, kids. I think we are very much at the end here. And we'll post that picture of Leonard with his Spock soon. Now, wait. This caught my eye, Sean. A great episode of Red Dwarf where they accidentally stop Kennedy from getting shot, and it ruins history, so they have to go back and get JFK to shoot himself. Oh, my gosh. That's kind of, that's what Gene wanted for his first try at a movie. The God Thing, before it was the God Thing, or an early version of the God Thing, his thing, before Planet of the Titans, which were the Brits that never went. There were 2 basic movie tries in the 70s. And that was part of the thing. And people were like, oh my God, like Kirk and Spock have to make sure Kennedy gets shot or make sure Kennedy doesn't get shot to reset the timeline. It was crazy. It was crazy. There's also the one where Jesus and the devil are fighting? There's something crazy. And then, the South Park pilot took it and stole it. That was that. Um, wow, Wesley, very good. Looking forward to the fan home new Trek models took up the slack on the Eagle Moss line. Yes, absolutely. Hey, Christoph, I knew Cairo would be Vienna Comic Con. Woohoo! You're boothing. What are you boothing, Christoph? That sounds intriguing. Are you helping him booth at his booth? Yes, good advice, Melanie. The heat wave finally left us. Yeah, Cassandra, we were talking about it at one point, the Creation Con in Nashville. Oh, cool. Well, that is so sweet of you. Thank you. I can't wait to see you either. I thought we were heading out. Yes, main viewer coming up. A lot of you will be over there. Yes, the butterfly effect. This is the concept behind the temporal accords. Yeah. Christoph, you're taking my job, man. What are you doing here? Oh, okay, an Austrian election too. Well, there you go. People that don't vote don't have a right to bitch. That's what my dad always used to say. And my dad always used to, for 2 or 3 years there, I can still hear my dad saying, "Don't blame me. I voted for McGovern." It's kind of a minority thing, you know. Yes. Do all the things. There's a new strain of COVID happening that's just out there in contagion. And I've known 3 or 4 people. It's annoying, and we still don't know about long COVID effects. But I've known several people that have picked up COVID in the last 2 or 3 months. Some of them out of San Diego Comic-Con and Vegas. And one person out of the Who Long Island convention. Oh, very good, Christoph. We'll make sure and take pictures and share them with us. Oh. You got to do a show of the children Picard. There are more than one. You mean the Nexus kids from Generations? Hey, Gooch. Man, it's good to see you. Let's see. Why did they drop any mention of the kid from the last season of TNG during season 3 of Picard? Well, the kid the last season of TNG wasn't really his kid. That the lieutenant he had with the lieutenant when he was a young or whatever. Mora was the woman. Oh, well, hang in there. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. You're not the first one to say, "Oh, I better go rewatch that," or just read, a synopsis somewhere. But thank you, man. That means a lot. I hope you're doing well and busy and having a good stake in the industry, whatever corner you're working in now, man. It's been a while. And on that note, another little mini reunion here online. I hope everybody is doing well. It's been good to see everybody. Again, if nothing else, check your registration here in the States and make sure you're good for it. And if you're really wanting to trek out and see what the actors you follow and love are doing, if you're of a like mind, make sure, or if you're even on the fence, go see what they have to say from a Star Trek bent. And yes, Glenn Hedrick's book is out. And I buried it. Go check that out too. Meanwhile, kids, we're going to call it a day. So, hey, if you haven't already, check me out. I'm on Twitter. Yeah. The YouTube, please like and subscribe if you haven't done it already. If you've come along since I preached that, folks. The new Trek Files is up this week with Steve Lee, a completely different kind of Trek Files Did I mention we have 3 rare audio clips in this week's episode? 3 rare audio clips in this week's episode, too. The Trek Files. At our new home at thetrekfiles.com, which takes you right to a page on Memory Alpha, which is awesome. With the whole show easily searchable now. It is. One more shout out to all my Patreons and your ability to patreon.com/trekland. Help us out on a small way here. Just $5, $10. And of course, coming to LA, or even if you're not coming to LA, maybe you should, just so you can take a Trekland trek. Treklandtreks.com. Check it out. All the real location sites, not stages, but the real location sites. There's over 50 of them. And thank you, Picard, the series, for adding to it. Not in Toronto. That's going to do it for us. Everybody, please, please. It is kind of a slow time in Trek world, in Trekland. Well, it's not slow in Trekland. We're working on a lot of things. But everybody, take care of yourselves. Stay healthy. Do all the things. Yes, the viruses are coming back a little bit. Stay up with the new versions of the shots and the vaccinations. Stay woke. Check the sources. A lot of BS flying by out there. And trek well, everybody. We'll see you next Tuesday.